this video stuff that Twitter's offering than anybody else is. That's for
Maybe we should
fact.
just shut it down tonight so that other hosts don't steal our ideas.
Right? Oh,
That's
if the sun would just go down, it would look better. Okay, cool. Okay, so I got the stream recording. Do I sound okay? Am I distant? Am I too hot? Am I all right? I mean, I'm
Nope,
always
you sound good.
I'm always hot. You
I'm gonna
sound
mute, pick some things up, wait for you to get into it, and I'll meet you in a few minutes.
all right. I'm gonna fucking drop us a track here, folks. Tweet out the space if you don't mind. We'd appreciate that very, very much.
All aboard! I certainly hope there's enough space on the train for me.
The Night Train with Willie and Bits on WX8BK.
WX8BK, this is the Night Train. You heard the conductor, it's time to climb on board, and you heard the lady say that you're listening to the Night Train with Willie and Bits. My name is Bits, and hosting with me tonight is another man who is an amazing dude who's made a big difference in my life and never has anything to say once I introduce him, Mr. One Wheel Willie.
I love that intro. not you. The lady, as you called her. Who is she?
The lady, Anja.
The Night
Anya.
Train with Willie and Bits on WX8BK.
She's the little, English lady we have hiding in the box over here in the in the studio. That lady right there is actually has a good connection to the show. In fact, she is Retro Manny's wife, doing that wonderful, wonderful voiceovers for us. I get the up on the screen there. Anja, sorry, I was gonna go back and check with her YouTube to get her pronunciation of her name exactly right. We'll just leave it at whatever I just said. Wonderful lady. She has a YouTube channel and a website, Higher Self Vibe. She's into some healing stuff and some positive self inner stuff. You should definitely, and I shouldn't even be saying just stuff. I should actually have a better intro for her because she is a wonderful lady, and I've watched a few of her videos, and I really do take a lot of them to heart. You can check her out, higherselfvibe.com, or she is available here on Twitter as well, at higherselfvibe, and really do appreciate the fact that she did these wonderful voiceovers. Here's the other one.
You're listening to The Night Train with Willie and Bits on WX8BK.
Oh my God, as if it couldn't get any more pro. Then I had to say that. As I did say, Willie's dying in the background, but that's okay. We'll pick him up a little bit later on. We'll call the HR department to clean him up off the floor. As I did say, we are the Night Train. My name is Bits. We are here every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, on Twitter, hopefully someday on Farcaster. We're going to be going on Twitch pretty quick, too. I'm sure of that as soon as Willie says, let's do it. You can also find us at wx8bk.com, wx8bk.xyz, wx8bk.live if you really want to go digging down there, but don't hold us to whatever you find when you start doing all that stuff, doing all the .coms and things like that. Tonight,
Somebody check the .live. Somebody check the .live for us and see if that goes. It should go directly to the live YouTube.
Oh, sure, yeah. If anybody's got the .live and they don't have to leave this space to check it out, go do that. I could probably do that too, but I got things to do here. What we're doing with the .live. The .live is we're going to have, of course, our YouTube streaming right there directly, so you can just go to wx8bk.live. You don't have to do any searching around. You can save it to your bookmarks and click on the tab so you're there, and do it that way because, that's what we're all about. Willie and I are trying to use all the technology that the young kids are using this day. So we're doing a good job of it. Did say that we are the Night Train. We're here every Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern. I already said that a whole bunch of times, but I just want to get it into your head just in case you do forget. Tonight we have Maximilian will be showing up as our guest of honor. We need to find out a lot of stuff about that lady. Wonderful lady, big in the space, huge, great talker. Looking forward to that chat. Next week, we will be just having an open chat here on the Night Train. We don't do it enough. We have a lot of friends here that support us and that hang out with us all the time. We've got a lot of great artists that we have on. You can check the old catalog on YouTube if you go to YouTube or go to wx8bk.com. You can get directed in those ways to find those old interviews that we have that are just amazing. Talking to artists about the art, the journey, and sometimes not artists. But, we have so many folks that come in here and hang out with us that sometimes we just like to chat, and we can go on for hours and hours and hours. For anybody in here that knows about that, we can go into the wee hours of the morning, depending on what time zone you live in, or the wee hours of the afternoon, with such folks like Fendel down there. And then Sister Sage is always hanging out with us as well. Mira Tratito, thank you for joining us tonight as well. Where was I going with that? Damn, I got lost. I was on my page, and I just got lost on my own day.
It also gives us a nice opportunity to kind of open up the microphones that we don't normally do to, people who might be new to the show and meet some new people.
That's right.
Always
Yeah.
Always a good opportunity.
Thank you, Willie, for getting me back on track. I forgot we were talking about next week's show. Wow, that happened quick. That escalated fast. Yeah, so April 16th, we're going to be here with an open chat, catch up with people and anybody that's, like Willie said, anybody who's new and maybe hasn't, had the chance to chat with us yet would like to pop in and do that. So we can definitely hang out and do that next week. We need to do that a little bit more often. But, we have so many great artists booked that it's hard to get to it sometimes, and we forget that we should touch base with everybody. Because, even Willie and I last week, we ended up talking for an hour and a half after the space.
Well, that was your fault.
Yeah, blame it on me. That's okay. I don't mind. The following week after that will be to be announced. We don't have anyone booked in quite yet. Putting out some feelers. Definitely going to have somebody there. And then at the end of the month, April 30th, we'll have the legendary Western glitch artist John Cates will be joining us, and I'm looking forward to that one. So make sure you do hang out with us. And when you are over on the YouTube, please do give us a subscribe and a follow. I know everybody says it, but we want you to do it. We really appreciate it. As well, pop on over to Higher Self Vibe and give her a follow as well. And maybe listen to a couple of her wonderful YouTube videos. You'll get addicted. You'll binge them.
The Night Train with Willie and Bits on WX8BK.
She's just so easy to listen to.
Right? Yeah, and if anybody collects Retro Manny, or if you don't know Retro Manny, I like talking to Retro Manny. I like listening to his voice, and then his wife is just like next level. If you do collect Retro Manny pieces, Retro Manny art, his Tezos Outpost 2049. Is it Tezos Outpost, or is it just Outpost 2049? I think it might be just Outpost 2049 series that he's doing, the story that's going along. His wife is the one that reads the story to you in the piece that you collect, and you just get melted away into that world, and it's really awesome. So definitely please do give that a check out. As for what's been going on over the last week since I've been here, since we haven't been here, not much. I didn't really collect anything. I did collect a piece from Retro Manny that he had posted on the Farcaster today. That was up for free. I'm trying to find it here. I'll find it here and I'll get it pinned up to the top. So if you want to collect it, you can. It was a free mint on Tezos, which is like, I don't know, a free mint on Tezos. Aren't they all pretty much free? Like they can be very, very cheap over there on the Tezos. I guess they're not all free. Got to pay something sometimes.
Well, that's a technical question I have for you. Then is it actually free, or is it like 0.001 Tezos?
That's a very good question, because I wasn't actually aware that you could do completely free mints on the Tezos.
Well, I wasn't either, so that's why I'm asking.
Yeah, I don't know. It was on, I'll try and call it up here. It was on, it wasn't on Object that it was listed on. Let's see here.
Well, do you even have it in a tweet then, because it's on Farcaster?
It would be in a, wouldn't be in a tweet, right?
In Farcaster.
Farcaster. I think he posted it somewhere up on the... Yeah. No, I was very ill prepared for that. I forgot that I collected that today. That was kind of a last minute kind of deal. Let's see here if I can get this up on the screen. Yeah, I don't know how much. I can't even get into my wallet to check it right now. But yeah, no, it said it was a free on tesserart.xyz is where it was minted and where it's available. Tesser Art. It was the first time I had ever heard about it. So yeah, I'm imagining there was probably that little 0.000 fee. There always is, right? I don't know. We'll have to look that out. Didn't do my research on that one. Sorry, folks. Sorry. I just wanted to give a shout out to y'all that are hanging out in here. I see you got a dude that's been here every space since the beginning. One Wheel Willie's in the space tonight. Mira Tratito, Fendel, Brain Digs, thank you very much for popping in. Brain Digs we had on a couple of weeks ago as a guest. Really great conversation. Highly recommend you head on over to YouTube and learn a little bit about some of the glass art and macro photography involved with that. That's going on there. Thank you very much for popping in. And Sister Sage, thank you for being here. Always appreciate you very, very, very much. Yeah, so I didn't collect very much. Not much happened in the past week to me. It has been a pretty mellow week for me, which is really crazy. One thing that happened yesterday. One thing. I got to bring this up. It totally popped into my head. This could have been a conversation for later, but I got to bring it up right now. Is that, the mental health thing that everybody preaches and prays. I don't hear it as much these days, but of course it's always there because it's a very real thing. It's very something that happens every day, and we may not realize it's even happening, when we're interacting with people. And, it's because yesterday I got involved in a situation at work where they were cleaning, some guys were cleaning up emptying the garbage cans in the shop. And the one guy picked up this big, huge thing that was taken off of a trailer, and that was sitting there. It was literally Friday afternoon at like 4:21 that this was taken off of the equipment and then left on the floor, and we finished work at 4:30. And anyway, that's when this piece got sat there. And he came in the morning, and they were doing this cleanup, and he was freaking out as he was throwing away garbages. And I didn't really click into the fact that he was an angry person when he came into the situation and came into my area, or definitely very agitated. And then when he picked this up, he's like, what the F is this? And why is it here? And blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, he's like, what unit does this belong to? It's sitting in the middle of the room. And I'm like, well, no, it's garbage. And he's like, why isn't this in the fucking garbage then? Throw it away. And like he threw it, and like he went nuts. And I said, whoa, relax, Captain Overreactor. And the gentleman turned around and actually got right up to me, like, and in my face and up to the chest. And he's like, are you going to make me calm down? Are you going to make me calm? Like, and it was a whole interaction. And my normal self, I will be honest about this, I have to remind myself to calm down sometimes because, in my younger days, I was a very hot-headed person. And it stemmed from growing up as a little dude that got picked on lots and was always bullied and didn't really fight back. So in turn, as I got older, I turned into a person that didn't give another person a chance to even throw the first punch, and I was the one doing it, right? So, but in this situation, I just kind of, as he was coming at me, and I was like, I started to say some things to him, and then I kind of backed off. And I said, hey, dude, yeah, whatever. Like, I'll grab this and I'll pick it up. And he's like, well, I already got it, and screamed off. And I thought about it after. It's like, we always have to make sure that when we're getting in, number one, when you're getting into tense situations, you should definitely try and be the diffuser of it. Of course, there are times when you have to react and you have to do things and treat it a certain way. And there are also situations where I believe that, like, no, you just turn into that asshole right away, and that's all there is to it. But, I don't know, and I have no idea, but I'm pretty sure this dude is going through something in his life, and we need to remember that sometimes. And I'm just telling the story just to reaffirm it with myself that, it was good for me to stop what I was doing and in my own head in that quick of the moment to stop and not escalate this any further by continuing to puff up chests and yell and scream and all that. And I realized that I needed to diffuse a situation because you don't know what somebody else is going through all the time. And that's the moral of my story that I'm telling here. And it's really important that we take those microseconds. And sometimes it's very, very hard when we're in those moments to do that. But super, super important. I am going to check in with him. I didn't check in with him today because I didn't see him. But, tomorrow I'm going to make an effort to really search him out at my work and just apologize to him and hopefully maybe start a conversation, and maybe that'll make a difference in his day, right? But that was my little story. I just, I want to make sure that everybody takes a moment sometimes, when we get into really tense situations to step back, And for me as a hothead, that's part of my growing that I have done over the years. I don't like to be that anymore. I never want to be that, but sometimes I have to catch myself and realize that, sometimes people are having shitty days and they react to things poorly that they shouldn't have, and in ways that might have been really extreme to others, but you have to stop and go, hey, maybe that person's having a really bad day, and when have you done that to somebody? So just kind of wanted to bring that up. So always give yourself a check. Even you, if, your personal selves, if you ever blow up in a day, stop about it and just think for a second why it happened. Sometimes it might be the obvious, like you stubbed your toe or somebody broke something of yours or garbage laying on the ground or whatever. But, you really have to think about how you're reacting to some of the situations, and did it require that reaction? Or was there something else that was fueling that had nothing to do with what went on? That's all I got. Be good to each other. We're all important. It's a tense world these days. Anyways. That's all of that.
There you go.
Yeah. No, I thought I'd bring that up. Yeah, it was a little bit of a long-winded story. It could have been shortened down, but it was a situation I had yesterday. And yeah, what I admitted there, in that story is, I did, man. I used to be a super super effing hot person, like really bad. I probably got in more fights in my life than I ever needed to be in, just because not taking those moments and reacting to something that actually was an accident on somebody else's part, and then I just decided to be an asshole. Which is funny if you ever meet me, because I'm only 5'5". I'm no monster by any means, but that's the way it is. How are you feeling tonight, Willie? You're feeling a little under the weather. Are you okay? You dying? Is that still the same cough, or is that a new cough?
I don't know. I don't know what
All right.
I really don't know.
Okay.
Kids give me shit all the time.
Yeah, that's the roughness of being a parent. Sorry, I cut you off.
I don't know if it's like lingering COVID coming back, or something new, or I thought it was just allergies for a minute, and then allergy meds aren't working, and now I have this cough to go along with it, which I don't usually get with allergies, so.
That sucks.
All right, great.
Huh. Kids, I don't have any kids, as folks know around here, but yeah, no. Yeah, well, I mean, and I guess it's good. It's part of, it's part of what makes kids strong, right? I mean, like we always say that some kids nowadays are getting way too soft and sick too easy because their parents don't let them eat the dirt in the sandbox and stuff like that, right? Like, you got to get those germs. But yeah, a place that I worked at that had a very large bunch of employees, they all had kids. They were all very young families that worked at this place, and yeah, man, as soon as September would come around and school would start up, like, that would be it. Like, people would just be dropping out like flies, because everybody would be getting sick, and of course I would get sick too, because I'm just hanging out there, not because I have kids, but because I'm around the parents bringing in all that stuff. And you would even notice it too, like when spring break would come, right? When spring break would come and all the kids would be out of school. Well, they would bring something new because they were playing in different places, and they would, right after spring break, man, there'd be another flood of sickness going through the work. It was wild.
Yeah.
Kid makes you stronger, Willie. You're going to be superhuman.
So up there in Canada, when it's spring break, do they all cross the border to the south as well, come into the U.S. for the week?
I guess it depends.
They stopped having school, at least like in most of the country, I'm pretty sure. They stopped having school on the Monday after Easter because most of the families would go back to Mexico to visit their family, family in Mexico, whatever, and then they would never be back the day after Easter because they're traveling back from Mexico.
Huh?
So they stopped having school in California and along the southern states on the Monday after Easter.
Interesting.
They just made spring break an extra day longer. So do they do that? Do they do that in Canada? Or they come to the U.S.?
I'm gonna say I can't answer that for sure, but I'm gonna say yeah, that sounds pretty reasonable and likely. But I guess, I mean, it depends. Like, I know the guy at work, he went to Mexico with his family, so I don't know for sure. I don't know. The one thing up here though is that, like, I'm not sure down there if y'all have Catholic schools and then public schools. Like, we have public schools up here, and then there'll be Catholic schools if you want to go to Catholic school. And really, it's like a public school, but the only thing is you have to be baptized Catholic to go to them. And then, of course, there's private schools, but that's a totally different world. So, but I mean, those two school systems.
All the Catholic schools and stuff that I know of are private schools.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we have a system that's like in the public domain that's Catholic, and then we have private schools on top of that. So.
I think we have something in the Constitution that directly prohibits that, actually.
Oh, interesting.
In the United States Constitution.
Okay. Very interesting.
There's a whole separation of church and state in there.
Right. Which, I mean, fair enough. I guess if you keep it straight across the board, that
Canada or forever.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Interesting. I just wanted to, before we get back to that, just because we have Fendel down there. Fendel's going to stay in here for a little bit tonight. He's going to jump out after, though, because Fendel has a gig. I totally forgot. That's what I skipped over. That's what screwed me up. I was just looking at my notes here. So our opening track tonight that we played was called Swamp Dweller, or sorry, was that? I clicked on it wrong. Called Dragon Tail, I do believe, by Swamp Dweller. And that's actually Fendel on SoundCloud. You can go in and get this whole album. Fendel is playing a gig tonight, and I was looking for the list of people who are all in his band, but unfortunately I'm just like a fucking mess tonight, so I don't have that. Yeah, so he's going to drop out tonight, and he's going to go play. I guess they're playing that entire album live tonight at a venue for a gig, and I think that's really, really dope tonight that he's going to go and do that. I wish I could be there, man. I wish I could be there. He messaged earlier and said, I won't be able to stay for the whole show, and I would never, ever need anybody to tell me that they can't come to our show and hang out on the night train, or that they were going to leave early. I would never require that, and especially from Fendel of all folks. But, Fendel was kind enough. It's very funny, actually, how many people have let us know that, like in the WX8BK DMs, that they won't be able to make it tonight. And it's like, well, it's not expected. It's not mandatory, right? I would never think of it that way, but I guess I would notice if Fendel wasn't here. We would all notice if Fendel wasn't here. I mean, for real. So, yeah, that's what that track was tonight. And the art, I was trying to get the cover art back up on the screen here, but I don't know where I put it. Was actually a piece by Mighty Moss, if I do remember. It was very interesting that Fendel had mentioned Mighty Moss. They've been collabing for 20 years, man, long before the Web 3. Long before the Web 3. They were back doing it when you had to do it on paper. It's terrible. But hopefully in June, well, not hopefully, but in June, I'm going to be heading out to Seattle for TezCon to represent the WX8BK. The Teztones are putting on this event, TezCon, at the Seattle NFT Museum. Going to be going on June 1st from, I don't know, it's in the afternoon, 3 to 7?
3 to 7?
Yeah, 3 to 7-ish, something like that, with many events happening around that. So if you happen to be out the Seattle way, definitely recommend you pop into that. Come on down. Come find me. I will have some swag, WX8BK swag to be giving away. Willie and I were just swag. And don't worry, Willie. I'll throw some in an envelope for you and send it down your way, or maybe I'll send it with Hash Brown or NFT Terrorist to bring it your way or something like that. But yeah, we'll get you some of the swag. I've been looking at
send it with the Terrorist. I still haven't got it.
Right. Maybe he's not even going to come. Maybe this is all just a bunch of bullshit. Fucking Terrorist isn't coming. It's just
big
all
ruse.
Yeah, big ruse. He's trying to we're getting events together and getting organization, and Terror's not even going to show up with us. Oh well. No big deal. That's all good. So yeah, anyways, June 1st, the Seattle NFT Museum going to be doing the very first annual, we hope to say, TezCon will be happening there. It's going to be a great place. Fendel went down and checked it out a couple weeks ago, or maybe, no, last week, a couple weekends ago. He went down there and checked it out, and he posted up a couple pictures. They got some really nice fancy screens. It looks like a really neat kind of a space. Looks kind of like a, kind of the pub you want to go hang out in without the bar and all the puke on the floor and stuff like that. But yeah, no, it looked really good. I'm really stoked to go there. I'm really stoked to go there and represent WX8BK. I think you and I, Willie, need to figure out some way that we can do some live broadcasting from there in some way, shape, or form. But we'll get to that when we get to that for sure.
My event I don't think is till later in the afternoon, in the towards the night. So I mean, I should be available. I just won't be able to make it there.
Yeah, we'll figure something out. And that's okay, man. I wish it could be there. I really do, but I think it's in WX8BK's best interest to go and hang out. I was in the Teztones work meeting today, where they were hammering out details, because I mean Teztones is getting big, and they have to ask for, they're looking for funding and stuff like that. So they got to put together people. Like they need Hash Brown today, stated that Hash Brown cannot be the one person that does all this stuff. He needs help, and so they were working that out today, getting things figured out as far as who's going to be in in charge of like basically being a treasurer, who's the general manager. Fendel stepped up. Fendel's going to take a big role in there along with Para and many others, so it's going to be dope. I see Jay down there. Jay, my man, it's been a minute since you've been in here. Good to see you, buddy. If anybody needs any Discord building help or need a hand with running the Twitter machine or something like that, you can go get a hold of Jay down there. I don't know how busy he is these days. Maybe you can't. Maybe you'd be on a waiting list. But definitely go give him a check out and a follow if you need any hands with running a community, because Jay is the man for that. Willie and I haven't vocally spoken with Jay in a minute or two, so I'm assuming he's very busy and doing very well, and that's what I'm hoping. Maybe it's not that way, but I'm pretty sure it is. He was throwing up some hearts and stuff, so I think we're all right there. MVD down there, thank you very much, MVD. Man, haven't seen you in a bit down here either. Appreciate you popping in. Really amazing light photography artist. I think I said that right. I might have switched up the words. Light paint photographer. That's what we want to say. That's what we want to say down there. Thank you very much. And also, if you're interested, you can check out MVD's interview on YouTube. We have them archived. Really, really great listen. And I think it's well worth checking it out. And you're going to learn a thing or two, and it's going to inspire you. I don't care who you are. You listen to MVD's interview, and it's going to inspire you, especially when he starts doing his DJ voice at the end. Right? Yeah, he's very good. Synth Skull down there as well. Thank you for coming in, Synth Skull. I was going to say, Synth Skull, thank you, my man, for coming in, but I honestly don't know what Synth Skull is. Synth Skull is a skeleton as far as I know, so can't even say that. But that's the way Web3 is, and that's the beauty about it all. And of course, I said mi retratito, listening to us. Thank you very much for popping in, me. And I was going to say our guest tonight was Maximilian, but it doesn't look like Maximilian got the memo.
I've been trying to ping her. I hit her on Telegram because I know,
she's always in the Telegram.
Always on Twitter, so.
That's all right. We can do a little bit of chatting. I mean, there's one thing that, Willie and I are really good at, and that's talking. That's something.
I'm a good listener. I'm a good talker.
No,
that's
dude.
What makes us great together.
When you get into the groove, man, you're a talker. Come on. Or the wine. Or when you get into a groove, or the wine.
True. Did I don't know how much Findle wants me to say about this. Did he send you a work in progress?
Oh, I didn't get to listen to it. I saw it right before the show. Yes, and I think we're supposed to keep it kind of hush hush, but I didn't get to check out the file that was sent to me. Did you get to check that out?
Yeah, it's really cool. It's all I'll say is it's based off of a suggestion that I gave.
Yeah.
Basically, and so it should be an upcoming mint here soon. So keep an eye out.
Oh, I'm excited about that.
Really cool piece.
Oh, yeah. He had messaged.
I know it's not. I know he said it's really rough, so I'm sure he doesn't want us to play it.
No, well, we're not gonna. We're gonna keep it a secret. Yeah. He did. Yes, he did mention that. But right before the space, because as you know, as Willie knows, I try and not do anything an hour before the space, so I leave all my technology down on the table, and then right when I was starting the space, it's like, oh shit, Fendel sent me something I should listen to. But I'll do that after. It'll be a great surprise. I'll be stoked for that. Yeah. And of course, if it's got Fendel involved, it's got audio. And well, I guess we can say that it's something that can we say who he's doing it with? It probably. I don't know. I don't want to be the one to wreck anything. Anyways, it's a cool piece. It's definitely a suggestion that was brought up here. Willie brought up on the space last week.
I'll just throw him a mic and we'll let him say whatever.
Yeah, if he wants to. Sure, absolutely.
But there's also pieces of his collab with Shilly Preston under the WXAPK collab.
That's right. Well, we can get that up here on the screen, right up there on the screen. It's our second drop in the WX8BK collab Fun L. Drop number 2, Fendel and Shilly Preston. Mr. Microphone. It's available on Object if you want to go and check it out. There's been some people picking that up. It's been just great. We've had a resurgence. I mean, this piece, people are picking this piece up, and then they're also going and picking up the very first piece that we had dropped with Iteration, which was WX8BK Saved by the Future 2, which you see up on your screen there, so you can pick that one up as well. But the collab with Chili and Fendel is awesome. So I had this one on my my screen that I have in my kitchen that I just show my art on. I had this one cycling on there for probably about 2 hours on Saturday while I was replanting plants, and it just worked. Like the background sound just kept working, and every time I looked up, there was the piece of art, and I'm just like, wow. And I was like, I should really change something to something different, right? And then I just left it on for like 2 hours. It was fucking awesome. I really loved it.
It loops seamlessly.
Yeah. And you know what? On the big screen, once again, I've said this a million times about a lot of pieces of art that we're all collecting. On the big screen, this piece takes on a whole nother level as well. Like, it's just it's beautiful. It's wonderful. What's going on, Fendel? Fendel, you came up here? You getting all pumped up for the show?
Oh, yeah, man. Just getting ready here. And, excited to play with these guys. This is my favorite band. We've toured West Coast 3 times and no recordings. But I did have a version of this band, of course, as you played the opening track. That was called Circular Data, by the way. This band had another kind of iteration of this band 20 years ago, and that's what that recording was. So with a bunch more people, but anyway.
I lost you guys.
Oh,
yeah.
Willie lost us.
I think Willie lost us. Can you still hear me?
I can still hear you. I think everybody else can as well. Yeah.
Good deal. Good deal. Well, hopefully we'll get Willie back. Maybe he wants to just drop down and.
I'm sorry about that was Circular Data. I wanted to play
that's okay.
I thought I was playing Dragon Tail, but I actually really like Dragon Tail. I've listened to that numerous times today. Yeah. And I was going to explain to people that that's like a 13-minute song too. Which is
it's a long song. And actually that features Reggie Watts, who is now like a super famous comedian and does like Super Bowl commercials and all kinds of crazy stuff. But I'm a longtime friend of Reggie's, before he got super famous, and he came and did that record with us. So it's kind of amazing that I actually got to work with him before, once in a while this happens, like your friends just kind of blow up, and that's kind of one kind of interesting thing about that record is I don't think
friends with Reggie Watts?
Yeah, like Reggie went to Cornish College of the Arts here in Seattle, and I used to work with Reggie, periodically, and like I'm friends with all of his, original band called Mach Tube, and like I've worked with Reg, on and off over the years, and now like he lives in New York or whatever, but yeah. Absolutely.
That's awesome. I like Reggie Watts. He's cool.
Fendel's super connected.
Reggie's really, really fun. He was on a show called Comedy Bang Bang that lasted, a number of years, and he kind of pops up in interesting places. And if y'all aren't familiar with Reggie Watts, you could just go on YouTube and watch him perform. I think he's even done like Tiny Desk or something, maybe, and.
I think he first went like really viral, probably like close to 10 years ago now. It was on Kimmel or some late night show.
That's right.
And he produced a piece right on his iPhone, like before, like there wasn't a whole lot of apps out that you could really use that power with. It was around like the iPhone 4, maybe iPhone 5. So quite a while ago. And yeah, he produced this piece and like loops all the tracks back and like layers all on top of each other, all with his voice and everything, right there on the show in like 2 minutes.
Yeah,
and it went pretty viral, I think.
Yeah, and this is I watched him do this for 20 years, just so that you understand, like in context. Like I watched him, use a looping machine for many years and do like music, kind of a combination of music and comedy, and he kind of like is very unique unique, version of those two things. And there's nobody really quite like Reggie anywhere, honestly. And we all knew that for many years, but we all kind of figured that would be, he would be famous at some point, and there he is. Anyway, he's on that record, and I actually did a few remixes with his tracks and stuff.
That's awesome, man.
That's cool to have that. That's cool to have that kind of a background, like to have seen him in a different light that nobody else would see him in unless you were hanging out with him for all those years.
Oh yeah, I mean, I watched him play, small clubs for many years, and then he was in this band called Mock Tube. You can still hear their music. I mean, if you look them up, the music is great. I think they did 2 or 3 records. MAKTUB is how you
Thank you.
spell
That was my next question. Thank you.
Yep.
Writing
Mock
it down.
Tube.
Mock Tube.
And great band. And then Reggie just kind of like went comedy, but yeah, great guy, amazing performer. I just saw him at the Moore Theater, like, I don't know, maybe like 4 or 5 months ago. He has a new book out too, and he talks about growing up in Montana and moving to Seattle and kind of trajectory of his career and stuff. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, you'll have to have speaking of Mighty Moss and the cover of that art, yeah, you'll have to have him on the show sometime, my longtime friend. And I don't know if you caught it, that his artwork was featured in Times Square at NFT NYC this week.
That was
kind of big news for, my best buddy.
That was a great piece too. Very colorful. Well, it was, very colorful, but I guess it had a message to it as well. Wow.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, I saw that. You posted that up today for sure. And of course, somewhere right now, somebody's talking in a space or an interview and going, Mark Fendel? Yeah, I fucking know Mark Fendel, man. I hung out with Mark Fendel. I played with him for like 20 years, and right, like, this exact conversation is going on somewhere else right now. What about you?
I mean, I don't doubt that. I have a lot of musician friends, a lot of friends in New York. And I'm sure that those kinds of conversations happen from time to time. Most of my friends, after music school, either went to New York to live, or they went back home wherever they lived, around the world. And that's one thing about Web3 that I love, is that, this is a real unique international community, and I have not had that for many years. So it's like, I think I really value that, and oh yeah, you guys were referring to that piece that I'm working on with Mech. It's okay that you share that. That's fine. We actually talked about that in the space last week? Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, I have worked very hard on this piece for a couple weeks, and really excited about it, and really excited to collaborate with Matt. I just think his work is just outstanding, and what an honor,
Yeah, for real. Yeah, that was just last week too. We were chatting about that. I can't wait for the finished product. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, it sounds great. I mean, I know you said it was rough, but I had my full cans on, my big cans, and it sounded great to me.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that was very rough, but still have a bunch of work to do on it, but really excited about it, and excited to share that piece. That all happened because of Flexosaurus Rex, and the Tezos vending machine. I got to do the music for the Mech drop. That was a month and a half, maybe I don't know. Time is weird in Web3, right? But I think it was like a month and a half ago or so.
I actually thought it was even longer than that, but you might be right. Yeah, because time is definitely messed up in this space.
Right? It's so weird. Like crypto time, I know I've had this conversation with other people. It's like crypto time just seems like it's something else. Like I don't
Right.
have even a read on it or anything like that. But anyway, like that's the reason why that happened at all, because he was really excited about the music that went with that drop, and so I owe it to Flex. You know, what a guy! Like, and he is just doing some amazing work right now. Like both art and his work in Farcaster and like um, just incredible.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah,
wow.
he's doing a lot over on Farcaster. If you're not following him, if you're not over
Oh,
there, he's
I mean,
doing
he
a
is
ton.
one of the top. He's like the top number 6, person in Farcaster. Like he is.
Yeah,
He's been there from the
he's got
very
like a
beginning.
massive degen allowance to give away too,
Huge.
apparently. So like he's giving away like 20,000 degen a day or something like that. Like it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a lot. That's a 20,000 degen. If you're not familiar with Farcaster, it's probably like about $800 USD. If you were to just cash that out. So just to like,
Hmm.
just to give you an idea, like, yeah, he is.
But
doing
I mean, the way it works is like he can't keep it though, right? Like, he has to give it out or he doesn't get more, kind of thing, right?
That's right. He does have to. He does have to tip a certain amount, and I honestly I don't really know like what that's all about. But if anybody is curious about Farcaster and wants to learn more, I'm actually going to do a 1 hour just Farcaster for basics tomorrow at 11 a.m.
Pacific.
11 a.m. Pacific.
Yeah, so that'll be like what 11, 12.
Are you gonna record it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, because I want to listen, but I've got a meeting at 11.
Yeah, and I just to be clear, I am pretty new to Farcaster myself, but I'm just trying to like spread the love a little bit and like try to get people, just at least understanding a little bit more about what it is and how it works and what the tips are and how that all kind of like works and stuff. So
I think it'll.
There's a lot. It can get confusing fast. You've got tips and channels and frames, and I'm not sure what all of it is.
I've been slowly working on
yeah.
it.
Yeah, I'll definitely talk about that. Oh, actually, I think it's gonna be me and Wessel. Wessel was your guest last week.
2 weeks ago.
Oh, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, Mech was last week. Yeah, Web3 time, man. Web3 time.
Yeah, I think Wessel is actually going to co-host with me because he knows more about Farcaster than I do. Way more, in fact. So.
Yeah, he was giving us the lowdown on the space that night, and he was the reason I got WX8BK into it the next day. And actually, he had sent me a link to join, a referral link, and then when I went to the link, it said nope, this name is already whatever, like it's already been sent out in a link or whatever. And I was like, what? And then it was you that had sent us a Farcaster invite, so I went and jumped on there through your link because it wouldn't let me go through a new one. So.
Great. Yeah, I saw you in there. That's great. Yeah, there's some stuff to learn, but a lot. If you're here in Web3, like you're already kind of a degen. You're already kind of like apt to learning new things and trying out new things, and that's kind of been my experience with a lot of people here. And frankly, if Flexosaurus Rex is almost anywhere in this space, I'm going to follow him to the end of the world. So that's just my personal like idea about it.
Right.
I'm like, well, yeah, he's already like done so much for me, and like and it's just been a pleasure, doing music for the machine, and I just really like I just really love that, and what a guy.
Absolutely. And I say that about you too, sir. I'll throw those flowers your way. When every time I'm like, Fendel, what a fucking guy. Like seriously. Damn it, I almost had that damn freaking Flex piece up. I was trying to get my old iPad to work, but it's crapping out on me. I'll have to figure this out here.
Yeah, Flex has that new piece. It was featured on Foundation. Holy moly! Like, what in the world? Like, that has my music on it. So I guess I'm a Foundation artist now.
Damn straight you are.
I'm just gonna like claim that.
Do it. Yep. No, put it in the bio, man. Along with all the other stuff in there. Yeah, my iPad just doesn't seem to want to work today.
That blew my mind. So what's up? Is your guest not here? Or like,
yeah, it's not looking. It's whatever. I mean, this is a first, but we're okay with that. But what I wanted to ask you, Fendel, just because I mean you are playing a gig tonight, so like, I mean, I know you're kind of getting back into the live gigs because I mean when COVID happened, I mean everybody shut down from that, and I know you took a step back from it, and then you've taken your time to get back into it. Do you have like do you have some kind of a pre-show thing you like to do, or is it just live life until you got to show up at the gig and away you go?
You know, like I usually try to keep my day pretty chill. I like to eat food, of course. I mean, I always eat good food, but I like to really watch my diet and make sure that I'm going to feel good for the evening, you know, and I usually practice all of the music, you know, day of, beforehand, which I did, just going over the music, and yeah, that's kind of about it. I like to you know, make sure I have all my gear laid out, like, you know, kind of laid out nicely, and like make sure my saxophone is, you know, in just good working order before I go, and like that's kind of about it, you know. I usually like to try to have a pretty mellow day before my gigs if I can, you know.
Yeah.
I don't like to try to schedule a bunch of things to do and running around. That's not what I like to do. This gig kind of starts a little bit late tonight, so I'll probably have to hop off here in like 20 minutes, but just to kind of get ready and shower and whatnot. But
just what you just.
I'm excited to play. You know, like this is my favorite band. We toured with this band. We're playing the Swamp Dweller stuff because all of these guys, well, less the drummer, were in the original Swamp Dweller band 20 years ago. But I've toured with this actual group of 4 3 times, West Coast tours, and the band is called McTuff, and McTuff has been around for a lot of years. The leader is the Hammond B3 organ player. The instrumentation is Hammond B3 organ, guitar, drums, and saxophone. There's no bass player because the organ player is playing all of that with his foot, you know.
Oh shit! I just muted everybody. Sorry.
Oh, I'm back.
You're back.
Anyway, the organ player plays, you know, the bass lines with his feet, you know.
That's cool.
Like it's crazy. So there's no bass.
But yeah, I mean, I'm sure it wouldn't even be missed though. Like I've seen a few gigs where there hasn't been bass player. I've seen a few gigs where there hasn't been guitar players. But I mean, kind of if you have, I guess that piano or the keyboard, however, whatever piece it may be that has those keys, it seems to be the one that can take over just about any kind of position other than drums. Well, I guess you could probably take the drums too if you think about the old Casio days, the Roland days.
Yeah.
Sorry. You know, everybody knows the vibe if you ever had one of those. That's cool.
Well, yeah, and you know, like, you know, Hammond B3 organ with the Leslie, you know, like big giant speaker that spins around, you know what I mean? Like there's nothing like the Hammond, you know, like the Hammond organ, you know.
The spinning speaker. Oh fuck.
Yeah, it's called a Leslie.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just makes this huge, like, incredible sound, and it's got like a cone inside if you've never seen one, it's got like a cone that spins around really, really fast, and it can be controlled by the player. And so you can produce different kinds of sounds using the Leslie. It's called a Leslie, is that speaker, and it's giant. Like the thing is a huge box, and
I was going to say, for people that,
amazing.
as you're describing that, I'm like, in my head, I'm going like, for people that wouldn't know, they're like, this is voodoo. Well, like, what is Fendel even talking about right now? This is all voodoo. But I guarantee you, I can't off the top of my head name songs that might have involved this or a band that's played live with it. But if you heard it, you would know. I mean, it changes.
Oh, yeah.
It changes the vibe like so much, and you would know right away that you've heard it.
Oh yeah, like if you've heard like a lot of classic, Hammond B3 type organ music, the chances of them using a Leslie are very high. They kind of it goes right hand in hand with the instrument, and it just fills up the room. There's just nothing quite like that, that sound. And yeah, my friend Joe, this guy is such a badass musician, and I've got a very good story about him. His name is Joe Doria. He went to Cornish actually with Reggie at that same time, a long time ago. And when I moved here in '95, I literally got off the plane, and my best buddy, this guitar player, we had gone to school together. He was already out here for a year before I got here, and he picked me up, and we drove directly to Joe Doria's house from the airport, not even stopping. And we just went. He was like, "You've got to hear this guy play." And we're going there now. And we went there, and I was just like, "Oh my God, this guy is killer," and could just play up and down the organ. And I just thought he was just like larger than life. He like lived in this cool house in North Seattle, and like he had like 2 or 3, Hammond organs and a grand piano. And I was like, man, this guy must have like tons of money or something. That wasn't really true. He was renting that house. He just had a couple organs, but it was just like, it looked so amazing to me, just like coming off of, a plane, from Boston, and like, going to some nice house in North Seattle, and just like walking in, just like, wow, this guy's just larger than life. And anyway, when we've been playing together on and off since, in various kinds of configurations, but the McTuff band is my favorite band that I've ever played in. And like other musicians know, like if you rehearse weekly with a band and you tour, like the music gets very good usually. And yeah, like the drummer is completely sick. This guy's name's Ahsan Karimi, Berkeley grad. He's quite a bit younger than I am. He's like probably 13 years younger or so. And the dude is just an absolute ripper. Like he just shreds, like he plays drums like he's in the Matrix. Like it's insane. The things that he does are like unexplainable sometimes. I'm just like, oh my God, like just filthy grooves, but like his hands are so fast. Like he plays things that you wouldn't normally hear, because he's got such sick technique and like just great feel, and really fun guy to be around. He's originally from here, and just moved back, after music school. But yeah, I've just had a great time. And the guitar player of this band, I have even a crazier story about like this kid I met when he was 13 and I was 20. And I was a camp counselor at a summer camp just down here in Olympia. And this kid was my worst camper of the whole summer. But he was also like very lovable, and he watched me practice, and I would like, play for the kids. I had my saxophone, and I'd play John Coltrane, and Miles Davis and stuff, and then like literally like 10 years go by, and I never knew what happened to him. He was only 13, and then 10 years go by, and he shows up here in Seattle. I mean, he's originally from here. He shows back up here, and he had graduated from like Tufts, in New York, and went to the new school in New York, and graduated like, and learned guitar, and like came back just a shredding guitar player who knows all of these genres, can play jazz up and down, like is really into rock music too, like very well versed, and like can play all of the grunge, and like really whatever you want him to do, like yeah, Fish, and all kinds of music. And he and I've just known him as pretty much his whole almost his whole life, like since he was 13, like this is so long ago. And so that's how I know this guitar player. And so we have just like a long history. And he just got into some, like when he was 13, he just got into some trouble, like at camp. But I always loved him, though. I was like, this kid is hella bright, super fun to be around. And like, he was a cool kid. He just got into some trouble, and it was laughable, like, the kind of trouble he'd get into. But then, 10 years later, he just comes back as this shredding guitar player. And we've just had this wonderful friendship. His name is Ari Joshua. You can look him up. He's got a ton of recordings. He's been playing with like people like God, what was that? What was the newest one, Jane? Yeah, I don't know. I guess he'd played with Trey a little bit, but he was I'm trying to think of, there was another kind of like some bigger names that he had been recording with lately. But anyway, like great guy. Look him up on the internet. Joshua, super cool guy. I'm playing with him as well, and it's got that band.
That's
history,
I just love. I mean, you're like I mean, it just goes to show that when you're interviewing, you do something in life, the people around you can be absolutely amazing. You've touched a lot of folks fan over the years. A lot of talented people. I love it whenever you tell everybody, you're always like, be like, hey, Google them, look them up first. They're Google. I'm not Google. But, well, I guess kind of just about am. I guess we talk AP got common. I think my aim is there's been. I mean, I'm Canadian. What else is to say, right? I mean, damn. And so, no man, that's cool. And just go back to your last question about what your pregame thing is when you gig. I think it's cool that you come and hang out with us because like you said, you don't like your day and stuff and do things. You'll just tell day of big. Stuff you put here and chat with us is really awesome. Really appreciate that very much. I do. I mean, if I had the choice not to go work today, I had the choice not to work any day. I would and stuff. But yeah, no, for me, that big thing, like to DJ. If I was on the road, it's usually unavailable that I would be tied to a gig. I could have woken up 5 in the morning and driven, 12 hours to somewhere at that gig, which is, that's the reality of a DJ. Yeah, like whenever I had shows locally, here in bars or whatever it was, yeah, that was my thing, man. I just like to be, it wasn't that I could shut down, but, like, I didn't want to have anything planned. I wanted to just, do fuck off if I wanted to do all. Just, pay us the big things. For sure.
Absolutely. Like, it's so nice to be able to just kind of, like, before a big gig. And, yeah, I hear that,
So I wanted to ask you, I'm just going to ask you, I'm kind of there for the test one in June. You've already done some work and went and checked out the venue and going on, invite to come to your place or this is a question. I am going to get to meet Sister Sage Jane, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. It seems like a really dumb question. I know, like, yeah, sure. I always heard her background. When you ask questions, you're like, oh, Jane, when you she'll say something back. There was one day when you and her have space, you were doing like a little practice space just back and forth, and I sat there for the whole time listening to your guys' conversation. So I have heard her, but she's heard it funny, man. But cool.
Oh yeah, she's right over. We're always on listen to your show, of course, and we've done a couple of Twitter spaces. If you want to hear Jane talk more, you can go to our website, sisterleaders.com. We've got podcasts that we've done for years. We've funding, personal ads, and for those of, I'm sure those who know me, like the other side of what I do. Yeah, we do it for a long time, and Jane is, she maybe we'll do a fun tour while you're here.
Cool.
Small time, which is about a 20-minute air ride from West Seattle.
Oh, okay. I say you're gonna have to excuse me. I'm a little clingy, but man, I'm gonna tell you, I am whatever you plan. I'm attached to that. Like aside from making something and having you brushing your teeth in your bathroom, I'm gonna be there. Otherwise, I'm pumped to meet you, and you've been a very important part of the WABK Night Train, 100%. And you're a very valuable person. Sure, I'm gonna have to fuck get my he's on come to see I'm excited for that. We definitely fair go check out the farm, man.
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely. We're looking forward to it, sure. And yeah, we'll have plenty of time to.
We'll see.
And yeah, there are absolutely.
You gotta get him to give you the sequence of the marketplace.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna do a little market tour before the event because we'll have a lunch down now. We'll do a little market, place market tour lunch before the event, and I'll totally walk you through this. Oh yeah, seriously. And there are travel with like the tourists don't know about. They think the Starbucks is the usual Starbucks. It's not. It's store-fired. Not even that. It's not even all that. It's like it's actually pretty tough coffee. But
I mean, it's still Starbucks, so it's bad.
Yeah, I know, but there's 20 other there's 20 other coffee houses in the 5-block radius that are better.
I was gonna say there's probably Manuel's coffee shop in the corner, and that's probably better than Starbucks. Are you a Starbucks fan, Lee?
Me, I despise it.
Oh, okay.
Practices, I despise everything they do.
All right.
Yeah, I'm not a fan for many reasons. But anyway, I digress. But Ghost Alley is the best coffee market. It's
Ghost Alley?
kind of hidden. Yeah, it's kind of hidden, tucked away in the dark alley right next to the Gum Wall, which is it's the second journiest place on Earth to the Bluestone.
Right, I guess so.
You can go on San Luis Obispo here in California.
Oh,
I think they finally cleaned it up though. But yeah,
they clean this thing up every year, but then people put gum on it again. It's disgusting. But it's also a lot of fun. We'll love it. It kind of started because there's a theater that's been doing theater for us outside for I don't know, probably 25, 30 years. And they didn't allow gum in the theater, so people started sticking their gum on the wall like before they walked in, and then all of a sudden the wall like blew up and like there was just gum everywhere. And that's how that started. But it's really, really gross. But people love it, There's just like gum just written off the walls. I'll have to take some photos of it and share that. But anyway, yeah, there's a lot of really wonderful things about the market. It is kind of the soul of Seattle.
Well, for sure. I mean, it's so freaking famous. Sorry to cut you off there, Phil, but it is. Like even last weekend, when I was back at Mom's house for Easter, and I said, yeah, I know. And Fennel's gonna take us and give us a behind-the-scenes tour of Pike's Place, and she's like, what's that? She started asking. I'm like, you know what it is, Mom? Like, you've even been to Seattle, like you know what it is. And then I pulled the image of like that neon sign, right? And she's like, oh, she's like the fish market. And I'm like, well,
yeah,
okay,
that's right.
Yeah, fair enough.
Right? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, there's amazing fish at the market. There's a lot of great vendors, and I think the nicest things about the market itself are the vendors themselves and the personalities that have been down for years. And people get caught up in the hype there, but if you really want to know the truth, the real ones have been hanging out. It's all about the farmers. It's all about the farmers first, the people, and the really full family life of long over 100 year long of soul in that place. And it's really, really cool. And I'm at amazing time to see it because it has changed drastically. You've been all this construction and into the waterfront itself, and open, by the time you get here, they will actually open the completed walkway from the market to all the water, which just, it looks amazing. And Seattle used to have a street called Viaduct that used to run in front of the town. And in the last few years, they took that high street in Midtown, that would be, before kind of on the waterfront. So that alley is gone, and the city has a completely new look to it. And we're kind of in a phase of how Seattle is. It's kind of really getting its kind of makeover in a way that is just really, really beautiful. And it's just, the sea is just, the front of the city is transformed. It is gorgeous. There's a park, now that runs the whole length downtown the waterfront, and you can bake on it and walk it, and it's amazing. It's just gorgeous. So
it's a groovy.
At a great time to see it,
Yeah, no, I think it'll be fabulous. A great time. I agree that the time of the year will be just fantastic because I'll be kind of, getting out of the rain season too by the time you show up there in June, right? Like, well, not that the rain season ever ends in Seattle, but I mean,
it usually ends on July 5th, but we do get we do get some nice weather. Man, there's some dogs, man. Wow. Anyway,
oh, they're referred to as murderers around here.
My gosh, that's not Rolo.
No, that's Willie's kids. Sorry, no, it's not.
No, that's my neighbor's dogs.
Sorry.
Got it. No big deal. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. I'm sure we'll have some nice weather. While you guys.
I'm a West. I've lived on the West Coast. I live on Vancouver Island. Like I know. I don't even care. Even when it does rain there, it's not. It's just the way you go about life. It's not even a big deal to me, man. It's part of it. Like I remember when I moved to Vancouver Island and it was like pouring rain in the springtime or in the winter because we moved there just at the end of winter and people are like, I'm like out there, I'm like, oh, this is fucking great. And I'm just like trudging around and they're like, you're nuts. It's like freezing cold and this is horrible. I'm like, no, this is beautiful. You've never lived in Alberta when it's been -30. Like, I love this. It's so fresh. Like, it makes everything fresh. Like, it's like you get a little wash every day, right? Keeps things fresh and clean. Oh, fuck yeah.
I mean, it is beautiful. And you'll see, like, I live in West Seattle, which is, people who live in Seattle think that it's way outside the city, which it's not. It's actually like 10 minutes from downtown, but it's really beautiful where I live. It's almost like if you look out my back window, it just looks like forest. Like, it's crazy, like how out in the country it does feel. I'm out, but
Beautiful.
It's really beautiful here, and it's got the same vibe as a background.
Yeah, well, it's like I said, I wanted to message you when I was looking for my D&Ds. Seattle, Seattle, it's been swinging area 4 stuff. In Seattle, but it felt like the same Vancouver. Where I was okay, but I was asking questions because it's a fact of it's a port city, and there's just these places going to be. So I was checking out. Yeah, I know the Seattle over there. I was like, it's just like being in Vancouver, but mine's here. Or it much cheaper. That's what you know. It's gonna be good. Awesome.
Well, it's really not as beautiful as Canadian. That's true.
Right? I'll do that 100%.
And I'd much rather click that. It's beautiful, soft, color.
Holograms on it now.
It's really like,
We bring any of these fans. That's all there. Like cheap stuff. All worlds. There's change. I don't have that anymore. Sorry. It's fine. Good stuff. Well, Windows departs and go and plays the game. Yes, didn't show up tonight. With this, it's definitely years that are this. I'm not about it. It's a big deal. People realize things happen. Like snow and the mentality was back there. So early. Oh, so everything. Not a big deal. I hope it's I mean, we got Fennel again tonight. And chat away, which was really good. I always appreciate hearing from Fennel. We're very fortunate to get to hang with him quite often. I'm very fortunate to get to hang with Willie very often as well, and everybody else in the States. What I was going to say was, I know next week we're doing our open chat, but for the next few minutes, if anyone's down here listening wants to come up and open mic and say whatever in the lab, feel free to do so. I think we'll cut it off at 8:30, 7:30. We'll cut it a half hour. We'll call it done. Fennel can go do his game, do his Rocky thing, drink a glass full of fresh cracked eggs. Yeah, go up the steps or something like that. I don't know. Right? What's that, Phil?
I was gonna say, it's funny you said that because there's a flight of stairs here right on the street from me. It's 157 stairs and it goes through the woods, and I like going up and down those stairs for exercise.
157. Hey, so one that I do in the summertime, I go 3 times a week, but is 238. Ooh. Right? And I run up them with the dog. Like, it's fucking crazy. When I get to the top, man, you don't know how much lung capacity you have until you do something like that.
It's good for you.
Yeah, there's people that, there's folks. I do it once. I go to the top and then that's it. And there's people that go up and down it multiple times. I'm like, wow, shit. Doing stuff like that's great though, man. Invigorating. And you said you're in a tree area when you go to your tips. That's badass.
Yeah, actually, right in the middle of the Green Belt. So there's not much there. And that you can't even. There's no houses at all. It's just it's completely. And then at the top there's low income housing at the top. It's a really beautiful area. All done in the last maybe 12 years. So Portugal is actually unique. The mix and low income. One of the places in the U.S. Is that set on subsidized property? No, I don't think so. Yeah, it was originally I think military housing many years ago, and it turned to low income and the revamping. So our city, and they decided to try something unique and try to integrate those to have renting like COVID. So it was like a little outback house, so it was like outdoor mill thing, so water and stuff. It was still warehouse, but out there. It's beautiful.
Dope.
You walk 2 blocks and you look at the mountains and the water. It's like really nice.
It's just very nice. It's cool. Obviously, one of those places everywhere. You're definitely gonna have those. I mean, basically greenery happening before. It's definitely out there. My city is over a million people. We're over a million and a half out here. We got a park that's 4 square miles. You can visit Americans. Very miles. But it's cool. Like these 200 there, you have to walk out. There's nothing in the park. So I mean, what the top of that? You can't even hum city more or anything. Being in city our size and well over a million people, that's a big deal. Special place we can just go do things. Green air. Get top of the hill. Get top of the hill. And people understand. Top building with that is one great thing to thing. If you've looked at the hill, you've climbed. 100% building. Very good. And you get that fresh air. But then when you top that hill, you're gonna look and see things differently. If you've ever lived somewhere for a long time and you've ever climbed top that hill you drive by every day, do it.
Yeah, I can go up. I can't go downhill. It's big for me.
Just roll.
I got wrong.
Is it fair that stop and roll is how you get down hills?
No, but usually.
Oh, dude, I just have a friend not too far away to share some very private mountain bike trails out in the middle of this little area. Also, it's open summer. So I think we'll definitely wrap here pretty quick. One thing I wanted to say again to you folks that are in here, Lou, I saw you popped in here. You've been dropping out the hearts and stuff and thumbs up and things, and very much for being here, man. Really love having you in the space, the Leeway as well. Since all in this stage, if people dropped out. What I want to say is next week is our open show. Willie and I would really appreciate it if you all came in, not just to listen. We'd love for you to just take a mic and even just pop in and say hi. Don't even say anything, but usually that's what happens. We take a mic from this space and Ian talk and saying, if you can come up next week and hang with us, even for even a couple minutes just to talk to us for a few minutes, I really appreciate that very much. It'd be really cool to meet you and put a face to it. If not, no pressure. Please don't feel that you have to. Nobody has to, that's for sure. But I'm just throwing that out there. We'd love that. We'd love that happen. Maybe Lou, if you can come to us live from Claw, we would really love that. Lily, definitely would hear from you next week if you can pop. Again, small obligation. Sister Sage, Dane, you can pop up. Absolutely. There's no reason you can't have the microphone in front of the show 100%. Pop up next week. So that's what we're doing next week. We have a little impromptu chat tonight. Fend up and share with us a little bit of information on the whole lab that's coming up with him. Share his band he's playing with us. What's the name of the band again?
Tough. And yeah, you can look Tough on. They're on YouTube. They're on all of the streaming services. Whatever you fancy. But yeah, it's gonna be fun. You guys didn't like this tonight. Like, wow, how random was that? I didn't even expect to jump in and say anything. I was just gonna listen for like an hour and a half and get ready and go to this gig. But always pleasure, guys. Much love. You know the vibes, guys, and we appreciate you and everything you do for the space and everybody in here. You know how much I appreciate all you. So you know you are.
We appreciate you too, man, and thank you very much. Much love going your way as well.
Yeah, man, I'm super jealous. I'm not gonna make it up to Seattle.
That's all right. We'll do it again. You know, like we're gonna do it. So you know.
If we make it a thing, there'll be opportunities. If we make it a thing, there will be opportunities.
Yeah, well, you know, we're gonna do it again. So.
Well, I just need to get back there, like in general. Just like I haven't been there in a few years, so you know.
And hopefully McTuff is gonna do. You know, hopefully McTuff is gonna tour next summer too. So that's kind of the plan.
Wild,
cool.
wild and crazy times.
I know. Like I'm hoping. You know, I'm trying to convince Joe. He just like redid his whole van. So like I saw it last night. I was like, hey man, look at that. It's like ready to go. And he was like, yeah, Mark, you know, we can't just stay around here and play music just around here. It'll get stale. And he's right. He is right about that. You cannot just sit in your own hometown and just do it like that. You have to make it out.
It's easy to be a rock star in your own town.
I mean, you know, like you can play all the time here, you know, like that's cool. Super fun, but like you know, you want to like do some things and meet some new people and like tour around a little bit. I mean, it's a little harder here in the U.S. to tour as a touring band because everything is so damn far away. You know, like everything is really spread out here. It's a big place. You know, much easier to tour in the UK or like Europe or you know other smaller places. You know, like but I don't know. It's just great. You know, like and there's a lot of nice places to play on the West Coast. So
For real, man. You think it's spread out there? Fucking try being up here. Just ask.
Oh my gosh.
Ask Purs. Purs will tell you about it. Yeah, I know.
You guys should try to do one of the music festivals in Mammoth.
Oh yeah, I would love to do that.
They do
I
3 or
love
4 of them
me
a
some
year.
Mammoth.
They're all like pretty big, man.
Yeah, I would love to get back there. My goodness.
That's a really easy one for me to be like, hey, we're going Mammoth.
Oh, is that right? You're pretty
Yeah.
close to Mammoth?
Yeah, like 4.5 hours, 4 hours.
4 hours. It's not
But
too
we
bad.
usually have a place we can stay there, so
Okay.
you know, if I know enough in advance, you know, it's cheap lodging.
I remember there was a really nice music club that I was at. I don't know if it's still around, but I was there in 2012. I was hiking the PCT, but I went to this music club at a night when I was in Mammoth, and it was really a nice club. Like I was like, ooh, this is a perfect place for me to play. I would love to be there.
Was it the Dublin-ear? They might have been shut down already by 12.
I don't think so. That name does not ring a bell, but I don't know that I would really remember the name of it. I could ask some friends who would probably know. But that's a really good idea. I'm gonna look into that, Willie. Serious.
Yeah, there's Boozapalooza, and then there's another one. That one's more like September, October. There's another one in like May or June. Let's say there's 3 or 4 of them throughout the summer. They have you know quite a few bands. So
cool. Yeah, that would be really fun. I love Mammoth too. Like that place is really nice.
Mammoth it is. All right, I'm in. Let's do it.
It's neat. Beautiful mountain town.
Alrighty, folks. Well, I think we've had a pretty damn good night tonight. You know, all things considered, everything happened for a reason. Tonight we got a little from the chat, and Will gets to go rest himself out and get himself a little better. So really cool. This has been the Night Train. Every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, we feature guest artists talking about their journey and what's going on in their lives, as well as the artists for talking to artists. Next week we are having a good old-fashioned chat session. I know it's another little bit of one. Next week we're encouraging everybody's friend to that train to pop in and maybe some friends and come chat with us. We want to space with a lot of people. We get to do that often because every week whenever we have a chat, focus on the guest because that's what it's all about, and we enjoy that journey. Next week we want to hear from as many folks as we possibly can.
Catch us up on things we missed, like TMT and Denver.
Yeah. And you know,
like Southwest.
Absolutely. We want to hear all about it. We want to hear what Lou's got going on. See if he's gotten booked in more planetariums. You know, stuff like that. So I'd love to hear from you because you've been friend of the show so long. Collect a little bit of art from you and also know most little stuff as well. You know, you can tell us a little bit of anything going on with you, your state, want to hear, definitely come. Lily, we always love to hear from Lily White. We get to hear about your short trip to New York. We did hear last week because we kind of got off a little bit being side is. So definitely pop in at the end of the month on the 30th. John Cates, Western English artist, WRS then. Until then, if you have a hankering to hear Willie and I blab about nothing and everything and all the stuff in between along with our guests, you can check it out on YouTube, WXAPK on YouTube. You can also check out WXAPK.com, WXAPK.live. If you have any questions or comments, you can get us on Twitter and DMs, or you can email email us at WX8BKSpaces@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. Put things on your calendar that you're about to hear. Have holiday everybody in the room. You haven't. Please do so. We'll see you next week, folks. I look forward to hearing from you here. Will, you got anything else you want to close out with, my man?
I don't think so.
All right. I know I said a lot, didn't I?
Yeah, we pretty much covered it.
All
Yeah,
right.
excited to hear from you. The following week after that, we are trying to put a 420 themed for any show. So that's why we even have one little open right now.
We might be high then.
And then John Case after that. Right?
You bet, man.
And we'll Max Million, and we'll try to figure out what happened and try to get it back on. Just we do some stuff.
100%. 100%. You betcha. All right, kids. Take care of yourselves and take care of each other. And we'll see you again next week or somewhere out there. Till then. Bye-bye.
And this is one thing that, also from this talk I had last week, that this space is one of the only places on Earth in any universe where that you can get somebody's soul here without having to leave judge of age, race, gender, you get and I guess that's what about